All right, on your screens right now, Prime Minister Modi unveiling a 77 feet bronze statue of Lord Ram at the historic Shri Samstha Gokran Jivostam in South Goa's Kanakona area. The Prime Minister reached the venue at about quarter to 4 p.m. this evening, where a special helipad had been constructed for his visit. Before unveiling the ceremony, Prime Minister Modi offered prayers at the temple located inside the Mutt premises and later addressed a large public, gathering. And on your screens right now, Prime Minister unveiling that huge 77 feet bronze statue. And Prime Minister reached Goa just a short while ago to inaugurate that key religious project, which is a 77 feet Sri Ram statue. Made up of bronze. This is a statue in the Ramayana theme park garden. He is also expected to address a gathering and release a special postal stamp as well as a commemorative coin very soon. Prime Minister there participating in the Shri Samstha Gokran Parthagali Jivostam Mutt in Goa. This will be in fact the tallest statue of Lord Ram in South Goa. In fact, the tallest statue of Lord Ram anywhere in the world. Prime Minister is visiting Goa today to take part in the 550th year celebration of the Shri Samstha Gokran Parthagali Jivostam Mutt. And the Prime Minister is also expected to inaugurate the Ramayana theme park developed by the Mutt. The bronze statue of Lord Ram is designed by a renowned sculptor, Ram V. Suthar, and it's just been inaugurated there, that huge statue. My colleague Brijesh Pandey is also with us on the phone line. Brijesh, a very significant religious event there. Prime Minister also inaugurating that 77 feet Ram statue in Goa this afternoon.
Absolutely. And, you know, as you pointed out, that this is going to be the largest, the tallest statue of Lord Ram in the country. It's a 77 foot statue of Lord Ram made up of bronze at Sri Samsthan Gokarna Parthagali Jivostam Mutt. And this is, Prime Minister is also going to inaugurate Ramayana theme park garden, which has been developed by the Mutt. What we've been also given to understand is that Prime Minister will also release a special postal stamp and a commemorative coin and address the gathering on the occasion.
In fact, it is expected that about 15,000 people from all over India will be viewing that unveiling today. It is a part of the 550th year celebration of the Mutt, which will be witnessed by over 1 lakh people. The 11 days time, which is the 11th day today of that celebration, more than 1 lakh people expected to be participating in cultural programs, including renowned artists, including Shankar Mahadevan, Anup Jatlota, and others will be performing there as a part of that celebration today. And the Prime Minister there on your screens right now unveiling that huge bronze statue. You know, this comes after a series of Ram celebrations, Brijesh, after the Ram temple completion that Prime Minister also participated in. He also inaugurated, the final unveiling, of course, of the Ram temple, which was completed just a short while ago, where he spoke about the Dharma Dhwaj and the significance of Lord Ram.
Well, absolutely. I think, this is post, the inauguration of Dharma Dhwaj at Ram temple, which marked the completion of the Lord Ram temple. This is the second big,
Right, we have lost the line there with my colleague, but of course, remember this is a series of events that Prime Minister is participating as far as celebration of Lord Ram is concerned, and this comes barely days after Prime Minister participated in the completion of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya and unveiled that Dharma Dhwaj atop the Ram Temple, and today he is at the Mutt there in Goa, celebrating the 550 years of the Mutt and unveiling that statue. Joining me on the phone line is Savio Rodriguez, founder and editor-in-chief, Goa Chronicles, is live with us on the show. Savio, visuals, of course, coming in of Prime Minister there participating in unveiling of that statue, extremely significant for Goa.
You're absolutely right. It is one of the most proudest moments for us as people of Goa. Bhagwan Sri Ram is is iconic in its Sanatan Dharma values and principles that we have, our nation and our cultural ethos has been enshrined with. And I think for us as Goans, which, we've been living in communal harmony for a very long time, the Hindus, the Christians, the Muslims in Goa. So for me also as an Indian Christian to see a bronze statue, which is one of the tallest, which is about 77 feet of Bhagwan Ram, I think it's a great moment. It's a great feeling to see that Ram Rajya is the cultural ethos of what our nation stands for, and that is what we are seeing in display with which Prime Minister Modi is actually bringing about, as well as the governance that Prime Minister Modi has been bringing about since he's been the Prime Minister of India. And I think it's a lot more than that. I think Ram Rajya, the belief in the teachings of and the learnings that you get from the lessons of Lord Ram and Lakshman and the entire story of the Ramayana is a way of life. It's a way of dealing with conflicts, dealing with how to run a nation. And I think that principle is what Prime Minister Modi and the BJP have been deploying since 2014. And that is why we believe that you're going to see India as Viksit Bharat by 2047, and India will be is a power that the world is reckoning with, and they're seeing that. And that is coming about primarily because of our belief systems, our Sanatan Dharma. And that Sanatan Dharma is something that is so enshrined in Goa. And a lot of people, when they look at Goa and you hear about Goa outside of Goa, and people are always talking about the sun, the beach, the party life of Goa. But Goa is actually the land of Lord Parshuram, and it's actually a spiritual abode of some of the most beautiful aspects of Sanatan Dharma. And that is something that I feel so proud about, that we are able to showcase that with Prime Minister Modi coming in with the bronze statue, which is one of the tallest so far in the world. And that is what Goa is all about. That's what the
Absolutely.
world should see about Goa.
Absolutely.
Not just the beaches
Not
and
just the
the
beaches, but
party.
also the culture, and I think nothing better than a massive statue there, which is also expected to be a major, entity of culture, celebration of culture. Savio, about 1 lakh people are expected to attend that 11-day event, which marks the 550 years of the Mutt. But on top of that, there is a Ramayana-themed park that Prime Minister Modi is also going to inaugurate, which essentially means that there will be more to Goa than its beaches. There will be, culture that people can go and experience in Goa today.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. A lot of times, the general perception when you travel in other parts of India and around the world, the general connection that people have with Goa is the beach, is the sun, it's the party life. But in actuality, when you live in Goa, like somebody like me who lives in Goa and is enamored by the beauty of what Goa stands for, you realize that the spiritual vibration of Goa is extremely, extremely strong. And it's not connected to any one religion. It is essentially the cultural ethos of what Goa stands for, being a part of Bharat. So today, when you have a Ramayan theme park coming in, you have that cultural information going out to people across different faiths, not only the Hindus. There is a sense of respect, there's a sense of acceptance, there will be a sense of acknowledgement, because at the end of the day, whatever our religion is, our cultural ethos will always be the same. We are all of Vedic origins. We are all of Hindu origins. That's what our reality is. And whatever our faith is, that does not change the Sanatan Dharma values that we have within ourselves, that we've been handed over from generations. A lot of people try to compare India to the value systems of the West, but if you were to compare the Sanatan Dharma value systems, which are embedded with most of us in India, the Indic beliefs that we have, irrespective of religion and irrespective of faith, we actually imbibe that, whether it's our love for our parents, whether it's our love for our children, whether it's our love for nature, whether it's our love of everything that's connected to understanding Sanatan Dharma, which is finding the God in you and finding the God around you, meaning the nature and people and the animals all around you. So Goa,
And
let me tell you this, and then the message that people should get is that Goa is gone beyond the beaches. Goa was always beyond the beaches. It was just a phase where people, at that point of time, connected with Goa with a sort of freewheeling lifestyle. But that's not Goa. Goa is culturally very, very strong. You should meet the people from the Hindu community, the Christian community, and the Muslim community, and you can see how they there is a communion that happens between all these communities and the respect that exists between all these communities. For example, I can share with you, like there are so many Christians that actually do Hindu practices because that is culturally what they've been doing for many years. So it's not about religion. It's about Sanatan Dharma. It's about spirituality that is actually supreme in Goa, unlike what has been portrayed about Goa for so long.
absolutely. And while we're at it, Goa witnesses a footfall of about 10 million people. That was the number as far as 2024 is concerned. And these numbers are only going to go up. And from what we have seen as a matter of trends, Savio, is that temple corridors attract way more people as well, because people in this country are not just inclined to take a holiday, they also want to take spiritual holidays. And I believe, the inauguration of that theme park and the bronze statue will also mean that more devotees are also now likely to go to Goa.
I completely agree with you there. In fact, one of the highlights of Goa is not only the visiting of temples, but also the visiting of religious structures of the Christian faith and the Muslim faith in Goa. Because you've got to look at the history of what Goa is all about. And when you look at that and you understand that there were so many questions that were there in the past during the colonization of Goa. You have the atrocities that happened to the indigenous population in Goa. You had the Goa Inquisition, which you saw a lot of the Goans moving out of Goa, moving to Mangalore, moving to parts of Karnataka, where their devtas and the kul devis had to, be taken behind. So there is so much of history here. But the fact is that today, that revival, that resurgence of that history, people are getting about it and they're getting to appreciate it much more than what used to be, because what the media and certain quarters who want to promote a certain kind of image have been doing for decades is pushing Goa towards what is more westernized in terms of the sun, the beaches, the Hawaii of India. But that's not Goa. There's so much more to Goa. And temple tourism, church tourism, religious tourism, the larger bracket of it, is really a very strong market in Goa. And I think with this new statue and the Ramayana theme park, you're going to see far, far more advances in religious tourism in Goa. And I think they should be, because it is a spiritual destination.
All right, and Savio, before I let you go, the inauguration is being done, and we can see Prime Minister, of course, celebrating with some of the sages of the mutt, as you can see, bowing his head, ensuring that he honors the sages of the mutt. What does it mean for people of Goa? We can see a huge crowd there gathered to witness that celebration in front of the Prime Minister as he's seated on the dais. What does it really mean for the people of Goa? How are they looking at this inauguration and the Prime Minister's visit?
Well, the people of Goa largely have been extremely, extremely proud and positive of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Of course, you have a few people that are not pro Modi and prefer to be anti BJP, anti Modi. But a large section of the people of Goa believe in the policies of Prime Minister Modi. They believe that Modi is going to take India towards Viksit Bharat. But for Goa, the most important aspect is Prime Minister Modi's own conviction and commitment to the people of Goa. And that's important because he genuinely has that love for Goa. He's had that love for Goa for a very long time because his actual nomination or selection to be the Prime Minister happened in Goa when the late Defense Minister, Mr. Manohar Parrikar, was a part of the team at that point of time. So he has an emotional connect with Goa. Goa has been extremely, extremely favorable for him. Goa has been extremely loved by him, and the people of Goa love him back as much as any other person in the rest of this country does. But he has that fondness for Goa, and the people of Goa has it for Prime Minister Modi. They believe in him a lot.
All right, and the love and the outpouring, of course, we can see on our screens. Right now, a Prime Minister has been handed over a memento, which appears to be first a statue of Lord Ram, one that he has unveiled. Remember, a 77-feet statue he has unveiled in South Goa as of this afternoon. He is, of course, at the dais where the celebrations for the Mutt are currently ongoing. He arrived at 3:45, where a special helipad was constructed inside the premises to facilitate his landing. He visited the temple complex, the mud complex, and he is also expected to address a public gathering very, very shortly. Goa Governor and Union Minister Shripad Nayak, as well as the entire state cabinet, are also expected to attend that ceremony. The 77-feet bronze statue has been created by Ram Suthar, the veteran sculptor behind Gujarat's Statue of Unity as well. And the unveiling comes amid a series of programs being held from 27th of November till 7th of December to commemorate the 550 years of the Mutt's tradition. Organizers expect between 7,000 to 10,000 visitors daily during the celebration. So in a total of about 1 lakh people expected to attend those 11 days of celebration as far as the 550 years of the Mutt, Sri Samsthan Gokran Jivostam Mutt in South Goa is concerned. The Prime Minister Modi there has unveiled the world's tallest bronze statue of Lord Ram at the historic Sri Samsthan Gokram Jivostam Mutt in South Goa, which is a significant cultural event for the people of Goa, as was also being pointed out by Savio Rodriguez, founder and editor-chief of Goa Chronicles. And that event is, of course, expected to last for a couple of more hours as Prime Minister then speaks to the people of Goa directly through that stage. Remember, as I said, it's a 77-feet milestone while Prime Minister is participating in a series of events. The Mutt, of course, is celebrating its 550 years. It's 11 days celebration, in fact, for the Mutt, during which about 7,000 to 10,000 people are expected to participate each day. Savio Rodriguez continues to be with us. Savio, before I let you go, and the Prime Minister, of course, is going to speak very, very shortly. A huge footfall there, of course, coming in, as we were talking about, by the virtue of that 11-day celebration for the Mutt, and the unveiling of those historical sites will mean that Goa is likely to see more tourists now coming in.
श्री गोकर्ण संस्थान पर्तगाल
All right, so for those who are tuning in into the show right now, that's Prime Minister Modi on your screens. He has just a couple of minutes ago unveiled a 77-feet bronze statue
श्री
in
संस्थान
Goa.
गोकर्ण पर्तगाड़ी जीवोत्तम मठ के माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय श्री श्रीनिवास देम्पोजी
The unveiling comes amid a series of programs being held from 27th of November up until 7th of December to commemorate the 550 years of the mutt's tradition. The mutt premises in Kanakona was established about 370 years ago and continue to serve as a major spiritual site for many Goans. We will, of course, continue bringing you all those details, but breaking news coming in on the show. The second quarter GDP growth rate and numbers have just been released by the National Statistical Office and beating all expectation. Indian economy grew 8.2% in July to September period. This is sequentially higher than the growth registered in the first quarter by at least 40 basis points, where the growth was recorded at 7.8%. So 7.8% in Q1 and in Q2, beating all estimates at 8.2%. Those are the latest numbers coming in. Now, most economists, analysts were predicting, in fact, the range growth to be between 7 to 7.5%, but beating all estimates at 8.2%. That is the number for Q2 GDP growth. At 8.2% for Q2, 7.8% for Q1, India's average growth rate for the first half of this financial year now stands at 8%. Remember, the benefits of the GST rationalization came into effect only in the last week of Q2, and the full effect will now only be seen in Q3. But even then, the numbers have beaten every possible estimate. Agriculture grew at 3.5%, construction at over 7%, manufacturing took the cake, growing by a massive 9.1%. My colleague Karthik Malhotra joining us live from the newsroom. Karthik, beating all expectations there. The numbers for Q2 are astounding.
Oh, absolutely. I think any economist we've spoken to, any analyst we've got on the show, or even the ratings that have come from agencies, including the Reserve Bank of India as well as IMF and so many others, nobody had actually predicted the number to go beyond 8%. In fact, the highest that I had come across was about 7.6%. Look at the SBI research number at about 7.5%. So 8% and anything beyond was totally unexpected, and it seems that the Indian economy has literally hit the ball out of the park this time. And one was actually assuming that 7.8 in Q1 is pretty much, the highest that one can go to in this environment that we are in, given all the geo-economic uncertainties and the fact that, even the GST reforms came in much later in the year. One wasn't expecting the number to beat Q1's, in any case, stupendous 7.8% growth rate, but coming in at 8.2% now averages the first half of the year to squarely 8%. So it's 7.8% in Q1, 8.2% in Q2. Divided by 2, we are looking at 8% growth rate for the fastest growing economy anyway in the world for the first half of the year, Shweta.
All right. And what led to this growth? I think it's important to also understand that. Numbers are still trickling in, but manufacturing there picked up massively by 9%, 9.1%. That's the number as far as manufacturing is concerned. And consumption is expected to have picked up, albeit only in the last week of September.
You're right. So, the last week of September is when the consumption activity would have really taken off, because we were just at the cusp of the festive season, and the GST rationalization and the rate reduction that people saw would have given that last minute fillip of maybe, 10 basis points, 15 basis points or so to the GDP. But up until the numbers were released, I think the assumption was that rural consumption was on the uptick, and we had also seen the government's own capital investments going up for the first half, for the first quarter and the second quarter of the year. But right now what we are seeing is a massive jump in manufacturing, which is coming in close to double-digit growth. It's coming in at 9.1%. It seems that the animal spirits that one had always wanted the private sector, the corporate sector to unleash have finally been unleashed in quarter two. In fact, I was speaking to an economist earlier in the day, Teresa John from Nirmal Bang. She's a lead economist at Nirmal Bang. And data was suggesting that there has been a pickup in private sector capital investments as well. And that is something which seems to be relevant right now, because we are looking at the manufacturing sector growing 9.1%. More than that, I think it's also important to know that potentially the schemes around semiconductor manufacturing, PLI schemes, and of course all the stories that we've done of Apple doubling down its manufacturing in India, all of that is coming to fruition at a point now that we are seeing these numbers add up, Shweta.
All right, and as more numbers come in, the tertiary sector is expected to have grown by 9.2%, which includes a growth in trade, hotels, transport, communication, and services related to broadcasting. Now, Also looking at numbers coming in for financial, real estate and professional services sector, recorded a growth of 10.2% in September quarter as against 7.2% in Q2 of the previous fiscal year. So wonderful, great numbers there that could have driven India's GDP growth momentum and you know, the economy on a steady footing. And as I said, nobody could have expected this, Karthik, because every person we have spoken to so far, from economists to analysts, predicted that perhaps 7.5% could be the growth, the fastest growth at which economy could grow in Q2.
Yeah, you're quite right, Shweta. But, you know, I think what I'd like to see this through the prism of is the fact that imagine attaining this number, 8.2%, at a time when the country has been slapped with among the highest tariffs in the country. Now, remember, the 50% tariffs kicked in much later, but we were still looking first at 26% tariffs, then at 25% tariffs. And there's enough data to suggest that India's exports, especially to the US, have slowed down. So despite the slowing down of India's exports to the US, despite India importing a huge quantity of gold, disrupting that net import, net export figure which goes into the formula of the GDP, you've still been able to manage a growth rate of 6.2%, where you were tariffed, where oil prices were volatile, where gold imports were high, and where your own exports to other countries, especially the US, which happens to be our biggest trading partner, were curtailed in this tariff environment and in these headwinds that the Indian economy has faced, given all the geoeconomics that we've seen ever since Donald Trump has come into power. So 8.2% could have been literally a much higher figure had it not been for all these headwinds.
And capital expenditure, as you pointed out, by the government climbing by 31% in September quarter. What's also surprising is exports rose by 8.8%, reversing a 7% drop in the corresponding period a year ago, basically lifted by front loading of shipments to the US ahead of the tariffs kicking in. So great numbers there. We'll try and decode them through the day. Thank you very much, Karthik. But moving on now. India and US trade talks are also gaining momentum, and New Delhi is hopeful of sealing the first tranche of a major bilateral trade agreement within this calendar year. Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal says the negotiations have progressed significantly despite shifting dynamics in global trade. Addressing the FICCI AGM, Agrawal expressed optimism that a resolution may be achieved soon, but cautioned that trade deals can be unpredictable, with even a single sticking point capable of delaying deadlines. Initially, both nations were targeting a fall of 2025 deadline for completion of the first tranche of the trade pact. However, the US has brought in reciprocal tariffs targeting several other trading partners, including India, in response to trade deficits and continued Russian oil purchases. And because of this shift, India and the US are now holding two sets of parallel negotiations: a broader bilateral trade agreement and an immediate framework trade deal focused on resolving higher tariff barriers. The Commerce Secretary says most major issues have been ironed out and both sides are now searching for the right landing zone to make a formal announcement, but complete elimination of reciprocal tariffs will take more time. Shifting focus to Karnataka now, where BJP is no longer in wait and watch mode in Karnataka. From the sidelines, now BJP has jumped into Congress power tussle arena with no confidence motion attack. In fact, before we go to that, we also know that more developments as far as Karnataka is concerned. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar is also likely to head to Delhi today at about 7 p.m. So perhaps conversations there within Karnataka Congress will once again spill down to the national capital. But the BJP is not holding back. A former Karnataka minister has announced that BJP will move a no-confidence motion against Congress in the winter session of Belgavi. He also launched a scathing attack on the ruling Congress dispensation. Sunil Kumar alleged complete administrative collapse. Speaking in Udupi, he said that for the past 2 months there have been no governance in the state, and even branded it as a Dushasana government which is running directionless. All right, my colleague Vajiola joining us with more details. Vaji, the latest, of course, that we know is Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister is once again going to be in Delhi, perhaps also now, increasingly fueling the fire, the speculation around leadership change, and BJP is not going to let it go as well. BJP hoping to now jump into fray and also perhaps suggest a no confidence motion in the next session of, the state legislature parliament.
Well, while Shivakumar has said that they may move a no confidence motion in Parliament, but that is highly unlikely because I had a conversation with the top leadership of the BJP, and they have said that for that it is a far-fetched thing, and for now they are only waiting and watching on what developments are taking, because and it is it's not possible also because for that to happen they'll have to split the Congress first. And make sure that some number of MLAs switch on the other side, and it helps the number game in the favor of BJP and JDS, which is highly unlikely because DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah have maintained it from the start that they are Congress loyalists. Siddaramaiah right now also said that he does not belong to any community but the Congress community, and there is no chance of him leaving the party or splitting the party or creating any faction, and he will adhere to whatever the High Command says. So that is a highly unlikely possibility. But yes, keeping in mind the unrest or bit that is going on in Karnataka with regards to the CM chair, it is just trying to get some brownie points in the middle over here by the BJP.
All right. And as I mentioned, in all of this, we now know that DK Shivakumar is once again going to be back in New Delhi, perhaps adding more pressure to an administration which is undecided on what it should do on leadership change.
Well, the latest we've learned with regards to the High Command taking this decision is that when Sonia Gandhi comes back from her trip, which is tonight, that is when the High Command will sit together, both Sonia Gandhi, Rahul, Priyanka, Mallikarjun Kharge, KC Venugopal, and others will sit together and then take a call of what should happen in Karnataka. Mostly the meeting is with regards to the developments in Bihar, but Karnataka, because of the ongoing tussle between the ongoing crisis of the Chief Minister, that will also be one of the most important issues which will be discussed. So that is a possibility that will happen. And what we've also learned is DK Shivakumar will be leaving for Delhi this evening, and he has made it clear in his statement that he spoke to the press a few hours back that he's going to Delhi because he has some work with regards to Mekadatu, and he also wants to get some clarity on the maize farmer issue that is boiling in Karnataka. So that is why he's going there, and Delhi is like a temple for the Congress, and he will surely meet the High Command also. And the timing of it also sounds very smart for DK Shivakumar because Sonia Gandhi also will be coming back from her trip tonight. But what I've learned from the Chief Minister's camp is that the CM is not planning to go anywhere. He is going to be in Bengaluru for the time being. But the Deputy Chief Minister has made it clear that he's going for some ministerial work, and there is a possibility that he will meet, and every leader who goes from Karnataka to Delhi obviously meets the High Command. So that is also going to happen. Now, how much of that will weigh in the case of DK Shivakumar, only time will tell.
All right, Vaji, thank you very much for all those details. DK Shivakumar, in fact, spoke to the media earlier today. Listen into what he said.
I'll go to Delhi because Delhi is our temple. Delhi is our temple. We have to go there. All of us are without Delhi, nothing can go. Congress party is a party with a big history, and always Delhi will guide us. We may rule here. Ultimately, we have a policy contained to the whatever the policies of the Congress party and the constitution. We have to work by that. So we will go to Delhi whenever they call me and the party leaders, including my chief minister, we will go there.
So the Vokkaliga leaders seem to be upset.
I don't want any of community angle. I have my own angle. My community is Congress community. Congress is my community. They, of course, I may belong to one community. They may like me. That is different. My love is there to all sections of the society. It may be a backward class, it may be a scheduled caste, it may be a minorities, everyone. Even Vokkaligas are backward class people. So
you went to.
On the other hand, AHINDA community pressure is now mounting on Karnataka Congress unit. The state president of AHINDA community has issued an ultimatum to the Congress party backing Siddaramaiah to continue as the Karnataka chief minister. They issued a 3-day deadline to resolve the matter. They have also threatened that South India will erupt in flames if Siddaramaiah is removed from the top post. Speaking about DK Shivakumar, they said he can be made the chief minister in the next term after the 2028 elections. The community, which is the vote bank of Siddaramaiah, has now backed him strongly, saying that entire South India will be set ablaze and will be in flames if Siddaramaiah is removed from the top post. Karnataka power struggle is a tight-rope walk for the Congress High Command as hectic parleys continue for the top post rejig. High Command leaders await Sonia Gandhi's return. High Command leaders will seek opinion of Sonia Gandhi on leadership change issue. On Sunday, the Congress top brass will meet at 5 p.m. with Sonia Gandhi. A final call is expected to be taken, and the meeting between Sonia Gandhi and Karnataka Congress leaders is slated for next week in the national capital. So Sunday is perhaps a deciding day for Karnataka Congress, where Sonia Gandhi, in presence of senior Karnataka leaders, will decide on the fate of chief ministership. And Congress workers in Gadag staged a protest demanding a ministerial berth for 4-time MLA GS Patil. Youth Congress workers held a march, formed human chains and blocked roads, expressing frustration. They issued a warning to the party high command to induct the senior legislator into the cabinet or face intensified agitations. The trouble there for the Congress party in Karnataka keeps brewing with each passing minute as more protests is now coming to light. We'll be tracking all those details, but time now for a very short break.